All right, test. There we go. Yeah. So anyway, I am definitely felting this morning. I've already decided I'm felting this morning. So I wanted to work on getting that next little sheep done, and I guess maybe a little bit of fine tuning on the Schnauzer. I did work a little bit on him last night offline just because I needed to get it done, and I've had a very rough week. I notice I haven't been streaming as much. I actually have a little more I want to get done on Schnauzhound here. Of course, there we go. More light because Lord knows there's totally not enough light. It's been so dim and grim and there's my boy. Yeah, so I actually added a little more to his back. So I need to clean that up maybe just a hair more, but we're getting pretty much almost done on Schnauzhound. Um, let's see. I think this was the owl, and then I have a sheep. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this guy wrapped today, and I'm getting pretty close to being done with this whole set, and I need to get these guys up on Etsy like ASAP. Bunny is still I still have two bunnies available. Um, there's one of them. I still got two bunnies available that are up on Etsy for Easter. If you hurry, I might still be able to get them in the mail. And that is where I am at right now. So, we'll be doing some stabby stabbies. And hopefully all that go live stuff just behaved itself. Actually, there we go. I went early today. Cause yeah, okay, Carl, you can go ahead and tweet for me. Thank you. There. Alrighty, and let's see. I don't know why I got that. That's interesting. Oh, okay. Apparently I got nifty things now that I can add to my things. That's cute. Good. And I appear to be behaved, which is good. As long as the stream behaves, that's all I really care about. No, we be quiet. Shh. Hush. I just need to make sure everything is running. I don't want to see the commercials. I think there should be streamers should be exempt from having to watch commercials on their own channel because that just gives me a headache. All right, so let's see. I have all this wonderful wool still. The wonderful world of wools. Yay, wool. All right. Well, I think I was going to do owl last anyway, and it was going to be an interesting colored owl. So right now I think we're just going to work on ship. And what I wanted to do with the ship, with the sheepy ship, is get this thing wrapped because what I'm kind of been doing with this particular go around with these little guys is wrapping them in the poly and then adding the wool to them, which has been an interesting. It's a little bit different technique than I usually use, but it's been working out pretty nicely, surprisingly. Because it's been giving them kind of like a skin base to hold everything together and felt too, and then I've been able to kind of add on top. Also, I did have some new little buggers born the other day. As far as farm stuff goes, and I'll be giving that more to Carl to address as that develops. But I ended up getting, I sent all the goats away the other day because it was just getting to be too much. And I'm going to focus more on my sheep. I'm going to go ahead and get some more colored sheeps. Sheeps. It's sheep, technically, is the plural and singular of sheep, but I'm going to call them my sheeps. So I'm going to go get some more ships and focus on them. And it's not like the girls and everyone for the most part are fine. They went to a new dairy. The only one that didn't make out so well, unfortunately, was Adrian, but he's been getting kind of old and under the weather, so we determined, that it's still raining. It's been raining nonstop, unfortunately, and it's just been bad on him, and he's arthritic, and we decided the um, best thing, unfortunately for him, was just it was just his time to go on to greener, happier pastures. So yeah, let Adrian go yesterday. which was really really it was my first one ever born here, so that was sad. Um, but that's farming. So sometimes you got to make that call, and you got to make that call with your regular pets too. So, but everyone else they're going to be going to a good dairy. Um, and then we'll be scaling back a bit on the rabbits. I know I got the one guy who's looking to sell them, or he was asking how much I wanted for everybody, and I'm like, that's always a hard thing, is you got to go like, well, I've raised so many of these guys here, and you got to balance your um, breeding goals with your what lines are staying, what lines are going, and it gets complicated that way. So I think what I came down to is it's like 200 takes basically this entire herd, which honestly, when you look at what I've spent and the lines that I've had and was building on, I don't think that's an unfair price. But I know the people around here don't typically want to pay that much, so I'm sure it's going to be back with, well, they don't want to pay that, and I'm like, you know what, I can just hold on to what I got for a little bit longer, because I this immediate junction, because the goats aren't here anymore, and because I've already cut way back, and the ones that are on at the moment, I can kind of I don't need to rush it so much. Um, so I can wait. Plus, I possibly already have rabbit buyers for those particular pedigreed lines, so I don't want to undercut myself, because I know what the people around here want for rabbits, and they don't want nearly what I've already put into them. So I don't want to rush those. I rushed on the goats, and if I get enough of a return on the goats, so I can get my sheep, I think I'll be good enough. And at least, like I said, the goats, I know where they're going. They'll go to a dairy. Well, they'll be good and productive, and they'll be taken very well care of. Plus, we get a first buyback from this particular dairy. They've been very good. It's been a good deal with that. So they go there, and that's where they stay until they're ready to retire them, and then they have the option to come back here if they need to. In the after they've gone through their higher production, and maybe when they're a little bit more lower production, I'll be able to handle that a bit more. Just that right now, I mean, I got goats right now that will easily produce 2 gallons a day, and that's a lot of milk for a household that's not heavy goat milk drinkers, unfortunately, because I have my husband and my kid are both like, "Eh, I don't want to drink the goat's milk." It's like, really? It's like, we'll milk the goats and I do all this, and I'm really good at making cheese and butter and yogurt and all kinds of things, but I can't drink 2 gallons of goat milk by myself. And even if I'm making it into cheese, a gallon of goat's milk equals about 8 ounces of cheese, but it's 3 days worth of production time, and it's a lot of work for one person when no one else seems to be interested in it. So that was it made more sense to let them go where they're going to be like super productive than it did to keep them here and just keep pouring money into stuff that wasn't we weren't getting any return on investment, and that's what was unfortunate about it. So that's okay, these things happen. But I think the sheep will be a better bet. And I was working on that the other day, figuring out like, okay, cool. I have these awesome awesome sheep that have these beautiful beautiful fleeces, and I'm starting to pick up on doing my felting projects, and I enjoy doing these, and I do a little bit of mixed. Like I said, this is obviously mixed media because I'm using the store bought poly pressed felt for skinning, but I'm also using a lot of the raw wool for finishing, and I was trying to figure out, because it is really really nice wool, and there's other felters that work just purely in the raw, or they want to have an option to get the nicer quality Icelandic wool or the nicer quality wools. It's, well, what do I need to do to properly get these fleeces finished. And so I started looking into it, and I was looking at I want to say it's Morningstar is the name of the fiber mill. But I started looking into, okay, well, how much is it going to cost me to get my fleeces at least carded? So if I can at least get them to the to carding and made into like usable usable wool. And I was looking it up, and I think we figured out 5 pounds of wool, which is about my average fleece for my sheep. If I send out 5 pounds of wool, it costs roughly $120 per 5 pounds. So that is what the rate's going to be. That's not including shipping though. So I need to keep that in mind. So if I can squash 5 pounds of wool, or they're even suggesting getting a vacuum sealing bags and compressing the wool down. I actually should put my phone over here in case the chat pops up so I can see what's going on. But yeah, so they were even saying go ahead and vacuum pack the wool. Hopefully you guys can see where I'm just stabbing. It's just so much stabbing. So they were even saying vacuum pack the wool so that you can press more stuff into your bags, so that when you send it out, you can get the most bang for your buck. And I'm like, if I can send out 5 pounds of wool, if I can squish it and vacuum it and get it compressed tight enough that I can fit it in one of those like large, prepaid priority shipping boxes, which is plausible. I suppose I could do that. I want to say those run $15 for large. So it would be like 120 plus 15 for one-way shipping, and I'm not sure if they I'm not sure how much, if it had to be say $30 in shipping, so one there and back. So it'd be like 150 something dollars per 5 pounds. So then I have to figure out, well, how much wool am I actually, like, I think if I remember correctly, I know I've used some of this, but I want to say that this was like this much black. I want to say this is probably about 4 ounces. So I think I want to, which would be it's 16 ounces per pound. And this is just that roving, and this honestly, this is almost like this is just what I got from like Michaels. And so it's not, if you actually take these fibers and look at them, they're like super short and stuff, and the wool that I'm getting off of my sheep is not, I think it's nicer. Well, actually, no, you know what? Correction, no, that might even, which is interesting when you actually start like looking at how much stuff is. And this is some of the ones I mixed, but even this is less than 4 ounces. I mean, that's a decent amount of wool, and you're saying, okay, well, this is less than 4 ounces of wool, and what I need to do is I need to actually weigh out stuff and figure out, well, how much is this actual? Because I pay. I think I started working out like weights and stuff. Like what on earth is the retail, and what on earth can I balance this out for? Because if I'm going, well, 5 pounds of wool, and if that comes back, and if I say I have like 4 pounds of wool left, and retail at Michaels or whatever, I pay. Actually, I'm gonna look it up real quick because I remember it was kind of ridiculous. Felting. And I know that there was like, if you started reading through what people were saying about what they were buying, as far as retail went, it would be like, oh, well, this is like okay, but they were complaining that there would be lots of knots in it, or there'd be lots of yuck in it. And I'm like, well, I got this like super, super soft stuff. So this is the thing, I have to look this up because I don't buy. Okay, that particular one. All right, so this was, I know exactly, this was the Dimensions Needle Felting Roving. And, oh my god, are you serious? Okay, well, apparently, that's probably not even an ounce left. That's ridiculous. So, I'm pretty sure this is the same one that I bought. So it says 100% wool roving, net weight was 1.76 ounces or 50 grams. So I've used a bit off of this already. So this is only like an ounce, ounce and a half tops of what I'm holding right here. And you see how much this is. Like that's a lot. You see now, you see, and this is what caused me now to rethink. It's like how much is really, this stuff. You got to kind of figure because it's an okay quality wool, but it's really. I mean, if I wanted, it's not particularly long fibers, and sometimes I want longer fibers, and the stuff that I'm going to be getting back is going to be spinnable quality, so it's not going to be just for felting. I can also sell it for people that want to spin. So retail on this for just the kind of cheapy needle felting wool, at least to be honest, I mean seriously, to be honest, in comparison to what I'm getting off my own sheep, this is $7 for less than 2 ounces. So 50 grams is $7 for U.S. Michaels, according to the website, and that's approximately probably what I paid for it. And I'm going back to where you've seen my stuff. I got like bags and bags and bags. Like this is just the the dark spots from Brock. So I have like bags and bags and bags and bags of this. And if you go back and look again, you go back going, okay, well, what's the difference in the quality? And this is unprocessed. So what I'm talking about is I'm thinking about getting it actually processed. So that's where I'm at right now, which is the reason that I ended up getting rid of all my goats, is because I want to kind of focus on this kind of stuff. So the interesting thing about the Icelantics, and this and the price that I was figuring out was including doing the dehairing, and what they do is this particular fiber mill does these specialty wools. And the thing about the Icelantics, if you look, they have this double coat. So these are guard hairs on top, and what dehairing does is it takes out the guard, it separates the tog and the thel. So on the Icelantics, you have this double coat, which is, if you were watching me do my schnauzer earlier, there's this really super soft, fine. Let's even show you that on the little camera. But there's that super soft, fine undercoat. That's, oh my god, it's so soft. And then you have this tougher top coat that's better for basically what they say is outerwear yarns and threads, and against your skin, like blankets and hats and things for this stuff. So I was even considering having them do the dehairing process, and the dehairing would split that actually into two separate types. So when they send it back, it would be the soft. I'd have the soft, and I'd have the top. So if I wanted to felt them separately from different things, because like with the Schnauzer, when I did this guy, I pulled out the guard hairs and used the guard hairs for like the beard and stuff, and I pulled out the softer hairs, and I used that for like the body furnishings, and that came out friggin' adorable. So I mean that's totally an option to do that, and also for people that want to spin. So come to think of it, mathing this now, and again, excuse me for the mathing, but $150 for 5 pounds might really not be that bad if I do a breakdown. And I'll gonna go ahead and do a breakdown because I'm curious. And that's really what it comes down to. There has to be markup there somewhere, I'm sure, because then you got to figure out shipping and packaging and whatever that crap's going to be. So we'll say it cost me $200 or something. But and then it just has to be my figure out. It's like, well, what would this actually be, and what can And this is a lot of this me thinking out loud, because and I guess it's good to kind of run through this, because then it's for people to try to figure out, like, well, if I was to make a business out of this, if I was to make money on this, what is my bottom line, and then what would I have to add to it, and how much is my time worth? So if I'm figuring just to get it processed, just baseline getting it processed is going to probably be 150 divided by 5 pounds. And so we're figuring $30 a pound. And then if we divide that by, say, 8, because that's 2 ounces. So really, okay, yeah. And then if you want to add premium, if Michaels can sell this rough kind of, second rate wool for like $7 per 2 ounces, and it's not even 2 ounces, it's less than 2 ounces. I mean, I'm coming up with like 375 for 2 ounces of premium wool at cost. And so, I mean, even if you double that, that's still less than what Michaels is selling their not as great wool for. So, yeah, that's why it can get kind of ridiculous. But then you have to also figure in, cost of feeding the sheep and everything else. But honestly, even if I go, okay, cool, I'm going to sell 2 ounces for $10. But then I'm trying to do the rest of the math, is figure out like, well, is there going to be bulk discount if someone wants to pay for, you know, whatever, and then how many fleeces am I getting, and how much are my animals going to cost me a year? Because the sheep, on the plus side, don't eat as much grain. Like, I really don't need to grain them as much unless they're milking, which is a plus. And there's a lot less of them now, so I'm even thinking, like I probably should run to the store today and buy like a bag of grain for the sheep that I have. But even that's not that big of a deal. But then you have to figure out, well, how much does it cost to have someone to come out and shear? And people were saying, it really depends. Some people do it by head. If it's going to be, okay, well, this person charges $15 per animal, and then this person charges $25 for an hour for however many they can get done, and then, and then if I'm going to do this myself, then how much do my clippers cost? And so you end up with all these other expenses that go into things, and you have to figure out, like, well, where is my actual break-even point? So I guess I just don't know, but it seems to be in the long run, it looks like it may end up being more doable than I was anticipating. Because even if I look at this, and then if I want to look at what they're selling, like premium, if I want to go Icelandic roving, and that's been my other thing too, is I don't want to, is you don't want to do like ridiculous undercuts. Yeah, well, 337 was what I was, but I was at 337 an ounce, or 337 per 2 ounces. All right, how much of this are you asking? Okay, they want one. Okay, so they're at, yeah, so that works. That's about what I was thinking. If you get it sent out and everything. See, I see that as pretty fair though. Is a lot of these they're going by the ounce, and it seems to be ranging in that right around there. They're also doing plus the shipping, which is not bad. So this person's got a 1 ounce for $1.32, which I think it is roughly what, because I was doing mine by 2 ounces. So because I'd figure if that's roughly 2 ounces there, and you want a decent amount for felting, which is interesting though. But then you have some of these other here. Well, it's 8 ounces though, so 8 ounces for. Let's see. And then I have to get the my microns and stuff, all that tested. But it looks like that it ranges. And then this is just the natural undyed. And this is all just interesting, just trying to figure out. It's like, well, what's the going rate? And then again, you also have to decide. Right now, it's also spring, and so if you're pricing out the spring fleeces versus the fall fleeces, there's a big price jump. There's like a huge price jump. Where what we've noticed is the fall fleeces will fetch a significant more of a premium. And the reason that the fall fleeces have a higher premium is because the spring fleeces, if anyone even bothers running them through, getting them carded or getting them worked with, is because they have had a ton of vegetable matter in them. And the reason they have a ton of vegetable matter is because over the winter, the sheep are in the hay, or they're in the barns, or they're being fed, or they're getting into trouble as they do. Like I'm pretty confident that my wool weathers coat is going to be completely useless as far as the spring fleece goes, just simply because you know they have this wonderful habit of running under the grain chute when they're being fed, or they like to climb into the hay rack and sleep in it over the winter, and then they just get so much crap in their coats that you can't brush it out. You're not getting it out, and so their fleeces ends up being pretty much junk. You end up using them for if I'm lucky, I might be able to pull some good wool out. But for the most part, it's going to be more effort than it's going to be worth. It's not going to be worth me doing anything at all with them, and they're just going to be throwaway. And it's a thing that happens, and you just kind of got to accept that you may have only get one really good fleece a year, which is going to be your fall fleeces. And so if anyone bothers even running the spring ones, they don't go for nearly as much. So if you're doing felting projects and you don't mind, pulling the extra vegetable matter, people tend to sell them for a lot cheaper on the spring runs, which is something also to keep in mind. So that's also part of the reason why prices are down this time of year too. Because I've seen it vary. Like and I know there's spinners too that are going to be like, what? Where are you finding these prices? Ask me to source wool for you. Because every time I look, it's always the prices are low, and I'm always basing my prices off of what I'm seeing. And it's like, okay, where? Oh my God, how? And I'm like, I don't know. I keep seeing them for this much, and so that's how much I end up asking. I end up either asking right around the same price or slightly undercutting if I'm capable, or I'm just like, why am I bothering? There's no money in this. Wow. But no. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. Is if I can at least offer better quality for at the same or below retail, that would be nice. But still, I still have to be able to be making enough to cover feed and breaking even. I'd like to be making more than breaking even, because it'd be nice to be able to start, to be a little more self-sufficient. And that'd be cool. That'd be really cool. But but even if it's just going back into like creating these little buggers, that's cool too, because if I can at least get the wool processed, then I can make more felty critters. Because then there's the whole, how much time is going into these guys. And this is always things I have to force myself to think about, because I'm really bad at it. And like really, really, really bad. Because my biggest problem is I'm always like, I'm just going to make stuff and give it away. It's like, no, you need to stop giving shit away. Stop giving things away randomly. It's like I've been really bad. I don't think I've been on World of Warcraft for like over a month. Like I should actually probably just take a day and just like, do some playthroughs for that too, because I need me time. I know you can hear I'm like totally stuffed up if anyone's catching the stream later. And the reason I'm like totally stuffed up is I've been like really sick this week, like really, really sick. And that's kind of what led to having to start paring the farm down, because the kid and the husband were basically just like, nope, sorry, we can't help you do this. I'm like, well, that's stupid. I'm like, all right, well, if no one's going to be able to help me do this, and I'm the only one that's doing it, and I don't want my animals to suffer, so this ends up being like the responsible thing to do is pick and choose who stays. What can we actually handle? Because I'm like, sheep are fairly easy to take care of, which is a plus. It's like, yes, you have to do the wool, and you have to handle like a lot of that stuff. But on the other part of the sheep is, for the most part, if they have feed and they have water, sheep don't need grain. So if you have, and I can put a round bale out, or I can put enough feed for them to be good for the weekend, and if I can put 50 gallons of water out there, and have just someone come run by the farm every day or so just to make sure everything's good, that will that will take care of them. The sheep will be okay. Goats are a lot of work. And then the other stuff we got is we got the new babies. So I did have new lambs the other day. So as the goats were heading off to a new dairy, which is cool. I mean, they get to go like an actual dairy. So as the goats were heading off to a new dairy, I had new lambs born. So that'll be nice because then we'll be able to bring in new um be able to bring in new ewes, and then I'll have I can get my black sheep that I want desperately, and I can get more I can never pronounce the Icelandic colors, the morflins, the brown sheeps. I actually have, technically she's a brown ewe downstairs now, and of course she gave birth to a ram. It's like, no, I don't want a boy. He's got too much white on him anyway. It's like all of his woolly parts are white and his legs are brown. It's like, no, your wool needs to be brown. If you had brown wool, I would just totally weather you and keep you. I might just do that too. Although I think I'll probably just get two ewes right now, and I'm just gonna collect all the colors. So it'll probably top out at like because I don't have a lot of land, so I'll probably top it out at probably three breeder sheep, my one ram, and then anything past that we'll do black brown. I have black brown cream. I already have two creams. I already have more than enough, so I can dye one. And I'm thinking pie might end up being my sheep that provides dyeable stuff, because white is one of those I mean, technically Minion's cream, I guess, but technically pie's more like a brighter white, and Minion's more like a cream if you want to get really picky. But what I'll probably end up doing then is we'll keep the lighter colored ones if I want to dye wool, or if we want to throw everything together one time for like a yarn, like a batch to do. I mean, I could process it straight to the end and actually have them, instead of just doing roving, I could make yarn. That would be totally doable. And that was really cool too, is looking into like how many feet or yards of yarn you get out of a fleece. Is I did not realize how much yarn you actually get out of how many pounds of wool, or however that works. I almost want to pull it up again just to read through it, because it was really interesting when you were actually looking at the pricing and what they were figuring charts depending on how thick you wanted it. Because this is one of those really cool fiber mills that they do like Icelandic and alpaca and deherring and all this fancier stuff that you do for the specialty wools, which is kind of cool. So I think that might be that might be a really interesting next thing to kind of get into. And I'm gonna make this one look like, I think I'd already decided that this was going to be a spring coated style Icelandic, which means it's gonna have that Tog and Thel look to it, where it's got like almost like the long shaggy coat that they get in the springtime, which is so cute. So I gotta dig through my bags of raw wool and find out what's gonna make this one look the cutest. Ugh, and I didn't forget about the felt along. It's just that I wasn't expecting to have so much come up so quickly this month. And I know, like, not the people who've kind of caught it. I didn't address it fully in Discord. I probably should just do like a bigger post, because I've only kind of mentioned it here and there. Because I know I've been kind of off, like even been off streaming, and I know this is even a weird time for me, but it's kind of been just because I've been sick and because of everything and stupidity that's been going on, and trying to restructure around here to figure out, what's going to be good for me at this time. And I think sometimes you just got to do that, because we've just had so much going on. And one of those things that we had that was going on was we've had like multiple friends in that were gotten to bad places, and I had two friends take their lives in 2 days. So that was really, really, really rough. And it was a lot of coping to have to deal with it, and then there was a lot of stress on me. And it's one of those things where you don't realize how much, like, you're always like, I'm gonna be okay, and I'm gonna be strong, and I'm gonna be fine, and then it hits you really, really hard. And that's why ended up being sick like a good chunk of the week. And then the other things that we learned, that's very, very, very important: do not take NyQuil and antidepressants. Lesson out of that one is, if you take NyQuil and certain antidepressants, it makes you suicidal. So I think I'm just gonna lay off the NyQuil for a bit, cause not a good idea. Cause like I said, very rough week. And but that's why you figure out, okay, well, what needs to change, and you make those changes, and then you continue soldiering forward. And that's why it's good to have a nice outlet like Stabby Crafts, which is actually fairly relaxing. So, but that's where sometimes you just gotta go with those, and you need to figure out, okay, where's my support, who can be there to help me with things, and you go from there, which is important, which is good, because I had good friends, and I'd call my husband, and I'm just like, I'm hitting a low, and he went, and he, of course, he sends one of my closer, one of my closer local friends over, and sometimes I just need to sit and talk, because that's important. And it's important that you do that, and it's important that you tell someone before you do something stupid, which is, again, going back to what we just went through. Is I wish that the other two, and this was like, they were totally unrelated, which is what was even worse about it, is it was like two completely unrelated incidences, but it was just the timing, and that just made it really rough. Hey. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's and that really was what it was. It's a different one that I'm on. And I don't even know if it was necessarily that, or it was just like everything getting piled on all at once, and it was just too much. But I was like, okay, yeah, we're just not gonna take these in combination while I'm already in not the best place. But yeah, and colds never. I don't do very good with seasonal weather and allergies, so. But that is what we learned. Don't do that. Do 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 do. But it's okay, because I think it was probably, I needed to get I needed to pare down the farm anyway, because it's, you really, after a while, you do need to kind of figure out, okay, you know what here can we, like, legitimately, like, afford to be doing, and what here do we really need to, like, dial back on. So it probably worked out for the best anyway, because it really got to that point where it's like, I'm gonna do the sheep, and I'm just gonna focus on the sheep. But yeah, you know, we still got memorials and stuff to finish doing this month, and yeah, like I said, unfortunately, these things, they happen, and then it's just dealing with the aftermaths. But no, but thank you very much, Krisha Gamer. I really do appreciate that. But we can talk about much happier things, because that's probably a better topics to move on to anyway. What have you been up to? What are you working on? now we have ship body for the ship. There. So that's basic sheep shape. It's in sheep shape. It's a sheep shape sheep. Oh yeah, no, and that we've done that in a lot of times what'll happen is I think we do that to poor Hairfair the most where because she'll be if she's like streaming later or something she doesn't mind if people drop in and it becomes Hairfair's therapy corner where we had a cry along the other night which was good like when all this stuff was first going down and she's a really good unofficial therapist for a lot of the people in the community, I think. So I know she's really good. I know Minnie's really good, and a lot of the naughty groups and creative have been really really good about being cross supportive. Cool blankets are cool. I don't think I've done blankets are a lot of work. I don't know if I've even jumped in to being brave enough to do a blanket. I think we're gonna make you look like my new baby sheep. We're gonna steal some of this colors. And still Snuffles. All the Snuffles. He's really cute, this new little guy. He's got little brown leggies. Totally cheating. What am I doing? Cheating. Oop. I would love to hear more about your blanket, because I love hearing about other people's projects. I don't think I have link restrictions up either, so if you want to post a link, you can. I can't guarantee I'm going to be able to look at it immediately. Actually, let me see if I can just do a pop out in the other window, because I eat a lot of bandwidth, unfortunately, when I do this. So I can't play the video, but I should be able to at least pop out chat so I don't lose it. No, not Twitter, Twitch. Don't be stupid. Oh, more dots. I'll use more dots. More dots, more dots, more dots. Pause. Pause. There we go. No, I said pause. Go away. Right. We're gonna pop chat out. So if we can put this over here. It depends how much bandwidth are we destroying. Oh, it murdered all the bandwidths. Oh, but that worked though. I think we're okay. I think I can murder the bandwidths and then oh there I unmurdered it. Ooh, cool. That is probably like really neat. Yes, if you got a picture, go ahead, or you can post it here. You can post it in the Discord because I have a big thing. I love seeing other people's stuff, and I love knowing what they're doing, and I just find it really really interesting because I think that's for me that's a good chunk of it. If you're gonna be on a creative thing, I want to see what everyone else is doing. It's like it's always funny. It's everyone's like my stuff's okay. I want to see everyone else's stuff. I'm trying to roll this and I'm getting distracted by the camera angles. There we go. We've rolled it. And my ugly thing. It's okay. It can be ugly because it works. I kind of made my own felting pad. Oh, I'm sorry. One of the reasons I made my own felting pad is because a lot of people complain. It's like I've been watching these people needle felt and it's loud. Part of the reason it's loud, I mean, it's one thing you get that nice satisfying crunch anyway, but part of the ones that are like super loud is because they're using the little, they're like these like plastic, it's not styrofoam, but it's like these like plastic like bubbly wrappy thingies that a lot of the beginner felting kits come with. Which is why if you look at like I want to say Carbon Phoenix, and I think Bench and Needles switched over to it now too, is they'll either get the nicer felting ones that are basically they're similar to this, where they're made out of it's just a better substrate. Like this I made myself. This is out of just wool and felt, and I'll probably recover this at some point. But only because it's ugly, not because it needs to be. And but then I guess I remember I had to buy a felting kit because I couldn't find needles local. I fixed that problem. I went to Amazon. I bought all the needles. But yeah, I have more over there too, somewhere too. That I don't think I've opened yet. There should be another like all the needles. Yeah, that was I kept breaking needles, and I just oh yeah, here's more. Yeah, there's more needles. When I do the felt along, I'm gonna actually make my own felting kits to send out to people if they want to get them. But yeah, buy all the needles. Um, and yeah, I don't ever want to be spending $9 on felting needles for three felting needles ever again. That was ridiculous. Okay. Oh, I stab myself all the time. I think that's just kind of par for the course for the feltings. I know, like I said again, Carbon Phoenix has a blood count. Um, I was actually doing giveaways for people. If people were actually in chat and responding to me when I stabbed myself, I would make them like a little like keychain or something. I need to make myself stickers because the problem is that I'm like, oh, I'll just make something small, and then I realized if I make something small, I actually spend like 4 times more time on it, and it ends up actually being less cost effective than I thought. And actually, there was a bunch of us. There was someone that does paper crafts that we had the same conversation with, where it's basically like, oh, I'll just make it smaller because if it makes it smaller, um, it'll take me less time. And then we all came to this conclusion that just because it's smaller doesn't mean that it's going to be like simpler, because smaller doesn't equal simple. In fact, what we were finding out was smaller was actually meaning that we were spending more time and doing more detail, which was ridiculous. And he actually showed an example of that where he was like, this is my large piece. I guess like, even the bunnies, like the bunnies, and these were for the Easter rabbits, and these are still up on Etsy, since they haven't been bought yet. So why? Well, look at how cute it is. But yeah, so like even like with these bunnies, like this rabbit is this much bigger than the pug. But this is probably 5 hours or so worth of work between. Well, let me just remember. So the rabbit probably took between 1 and 3, and the pug probably took between 5 and 8. Because if you start going by the actual details, I have all these like ridiculously tight little details in this pug, and the skin being folded over, and all this other stuff, and all this little detail things that are all into this little pug. So the smaller ones actually take longer to do than some of the larger ones, which is and then you don't realize that when you're first working on them. So it ends up being like, yeah, I have this detail work in the bigger ones, but because it's spread over a larger distance, it's actually less time consuming in some ways than the small stuff. And like even now doing this little sheep, um the initial setup is quicker. Like it may only take me half an hour to get the body, the initial shape, underlying shape part done. But then now as I'm going to start moving into higher detail work, it's going to end up taking longer and longer and longer. Like with the schnauzer, the other schnauzers I were doing, and these are still about equivalent size, but detail wise, this has gone up significantly. So like with this guy, when I first, you're gonna have to move back, camera. So like when I first started doing the schnauzers, I was just doing similar to how I would do like my rabbit and my, like, like how I basically did this, where I get the it's not the dirty, like the skirted, the harder, the not as nice wool, and use that as my base. And then once I got the shape built up the way I wanted it, and this is not pressed. This is completely from scratch ears. Come here where I can see it. So like a lot of people use like the pressed felt, like I'm using the pressed felt to wrap the skins. This one's done pretty almost 100% just straight wool. So this is one of my like straight wool pieces. And so I use like the skirting wool, like the wool from the back legs, um, where it's still fairly clean, but it's a harsher textured wool from Minion as the underlying because it's harder. And then I go over and I use like the lighter and the softer and brighter colored wool to kind of like do the top blending when I finish doing my build up. And then these are all like hand pressed and stuff, but um, this was a relatively quick job in comparison to like this guy, because what I ended up doing with this is I built the base, but then once I built the base and I wrapped it like I'm wrapping these guys with the poly, I went back in and then I built that beard up starting at the base and building the entire beard all the way around. So um and it ended up being a lot more detailed because I was individually plucking the fibers that I wanted. Plus, then I gave this guy a Schnauzer haircut, and I still have a little more I want to finish on this when I go back in and do some more detail here. And I might even continue this technique I was doing like on the beard and actually just start and go all the way down and then literally just trim him up. So that he literally has like a Schnauzer cut, so it'll being like this long, but it'll look even more realistic than it does. So I may actually put even more time into that because he's probably already got, you know, easily 6 hours into him. So here, I'll go back to, you don't need to see my boobs. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to finish up legs on Ship a Ship. Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, and even the crocheters, like I was watching, was we were watching people do. I'm not gonna pronounce it right. I can't pronounce it. They actually make the crochet critters. Aragurumi. I tried. I really did. Yeah, and I've watched people do those, and they're friggin' phenomenal. And then I don't know if it was Minnie or it was someone else that were using like the teeny tiny crochet needles. And that's just crazy. But it's so cool to watch people work at it because they're just like you get these like super ultra fine details. And that it always impresses me because you start looking like, wow, that's just amazing. Even now I'm digging around in this to try to get it fluffed, and then I'm tying back in. I don't know how much you'd caught earlier, but I've decided I'm gonna be making I'm gonna go and get some of my fleeces like properly done into roving. So this is like my next exciting adventure is I'm buying more sheeps and I'm gonna start getting my wool milled and turned into to like actual like my wool all pretty and rushed and stuff. So I'm actually kind of excited about that in a little bit. Actually really looking forward to getting some nice colored hues. Okay, I'll flip you over. Start stabbing from this side. So, God of War blanket. Dots. More dots, more dots, more dots. I am interested in seeing a picture of that though, so I hope you can. Well, I don't know if you're like working on that or streaming that anyway. I'm gonna have to follow you back and drop by. So I want to see. And again with the fluffing, I do a lot of stab and fluff. What I was actually finding out was I was kind of building my own combs out of my deceased needles, because I break I snap needles so much. You're almost done with this leg. I'm going to start doing the next one. And I'll add a little hoof on the end of that in a bit. Alright, I guess we can maybe do front. I love the little baby lambs because they're so freaking spindly. Oh, good. I'm glad that duck's finally eating. Yeah, so basically, almost all the only animals that I kept are like a couple of ones that I'm still kind of nursing back to health because they've either been in accidents. My dogs are stupid, and they got a hold of this duck, so I'm like, well, I retained this one because it's sick, and I'm going to try to nurse it back to health like I did with the last one, which surprisingly was very successful, which works out just as well because Lori needs a new female duck, so as soon as this one's feeling better, we'll go turn her loose with the other male, and then she'll have at least a companion over there, so she won't be lonely. We basically kept the ones that needed doctored or were already established to be to the table, and then of course I kept Carl and a couple of hens because I love Carl to death. If you have not met Carl, sometime Carl's in charge of the farm channel. And occasionally he wanders around. He wanders around creative, spreading joy and tossing eggs wherever he goes. So. Ah, you know, well, sometimes it's good to take a break. Oh, awesome! A pick. All right, and now I get to crash the computer. He's like, "Where's my stream going?" It went away. Come on, pull up all the way without crashing. Let's balance that out. Nope. Oh, it's gonna be neat. Here, am I logged in? I'm not logged in. Let's log in. Should be auto-logged. There we go. I'm gonna follow you here. Oh, we're gonna like that. That's gonna be one big game. There we go. Now it wants to behave itself. Okay, cool. Yeah, I see. It gets graphed out. Oh, that's gonna be really neat. Yeah, that's gonna be really neat. I'm gonna retweet that too. I think that's gonna turn out really cool. I like that where it's just a couple of colors too. I think that like more restrictive palette can like really work for like a lot of stuff. So it looks like it's just gonna be the black, the red, and the white. Yeah. No, I like that. I do. Do do do. I'll do here. Yeah, we had spring break week before last, I think is when they did it. I think they did it before St. Patrick's Day, where we were at. Which is, I guess, I guess it was I guess it rotated when we were in New York too. If it was going to be St. Patrick's week or Easter week, because I guess we're coming into Easter now, technically. It's like, yeah, it's like Easter's on April Fool's Day this year, which is pretty much exactly like it's okay. We already had solstice, so it's all good. Yeah, we had our spring break over solstice, with the time change. I think that's why they did it. I think that's why they chose to do it at that time, is because we had the time change at the same time that we had spring break, and they just didn't want to deal with the kids missing the buses. Not like it mattered, because by the time we got back from all of our stuff, yeah, it was Matt's birthday weekend, so it was, oh man, it was all kinds of everything. Ooh, I just got I just got hungry. I probably should have grabbed a cup of coffee before I started. About an hour in. I'm thinking about taking 5 and running downstairs and just grabbing something to eat real quick. So I figured I'd probably stream to about 11 or so this morning, and then I'll either come back later tonight, but I didn't want to go to town yet, because it was just one of those, like, it's too early to go to town. I don't want to go to town that early. Um, but now we're getting to where I need to go run and do errands. Hubby stayed home from work because he was sick today. Because of course that's how that works when you're married and one spouse gets sick. So if you're married and one spouse gets sick, it's like, okay, how many days until the next spouse gets sick? And he made it until Thursday. Yeah, but the thing is, if once I go to town, I'm not coming back for a long time, because I have a club meeting today, and I should probably go work on some stuff at the lab. So I know I'm going to be up there for a bit. Okay. They should totally have a hangry bot. It's not the thing is, hydration bot's not even one of Twitch's bots. Hydration bot's just like, apparently someone like randomly made it, and I guess you can sign other streamers up for it, and I guess you have the option to opt back out, but um which is, I think it's the same way people were asking, how is Carl's account not banned? And I'm like, I think it's because Twitch takes into account if things are funny or not. because I'm totally against like hardcore trolling because that's like BS. But um, come on, seriously, you have an actual chicken run into your stream and throw bits at you. It's funny, but yeah. So it's like, because Carl's just entertaining. So he's my buddy, and yeah, occasionally that's what happens with chickens. They randomly run in, and they also get very defensive. You know, if there's a raid going on, man, he'll throw eggs, man. Totally throw eggs. He's also a very good moderator. I have him modding my stuff sometimes. I love Carl. Carl's a good chicken. He's best stream rooster. I've actually been having a lot of fun with that, just because he has typing issues. We've been having long discussions over what the best way to translate um, chicken to chicken to type, or bok to English. And I think we've finally figured out a solution. So there's actually gonna be a few more experiments going on before he gets rolled into his own thing completely. It's gonna be hilarious. But I know that's the only theory I've come up with is Twitch appreciates humor, as long as it's benign humor. That's not good. So no, yeah, the hydration bot. I'm cool. I'm totally cool with hydration bot. I'm totally cool with, like, I'm totally cool with fun stuff. I mean, I would be it's I don't cute. I think cute trolling is fun. I like cute trolling. I'm totally supportive of cute trolling. But we've been cute trolling each other on Twitter now for, like, because that's what my group of friends does, where it's like, oh, this person's having a bad day, what's their favorite animal? Oh, this person likes hedgehogs. Hey, and I'll use Iron Pirate as an example. It's like, hey, it's Daisy, and randomly just tweet at them with pictures of, like, hedgehogs and pirate hats, or taking a bath, or being ridiculously cute. And we that's our definition of cute trolling, because it's kind of trolling, but it's really not. It's just like, here's adorable animal pictures, please feel better. And so I'm totally in support of stuff like that. And I'm totally in support of roosters running around throwing bits at people, and I'm totally in support of, hey, don't forget to drink something. Well, and yeah, I know, understand what you're saying, but it matters what you drink. It's like, okay, yeah, hydration. Yeah, you should hydrate. It's like, okay, hand me my Guinness. Like, no, that's not what hydration bot meant. Um, but yeah, I'm fine. I wish we'd have more of that kind of, just like, hey, feel better about yourself. I hope you're having a good day. And I mean, there's nothing, that's all good stuff. And that's, so I think it's context, because there's like different levels of things. And but yep. See, now I'm stretching my fibers. So you brush fibers like this. There we go. That's what Carl was originally born out of that. That's He has a Twitter account. So it's best rooster. There we go. I'm making the back legs now, so these need to be slightly more shaped. Oof. Oh, do I want to push this for a little? I should have grabbed snacks. Oh well, my bad. There does need to be a hangry bot. I'm totally in agreement with that. Well, Hyper had apparently, if you go on her Ravelry, um, she's done she's done boobs. And I think I want to say it was one of those, like, breast cancer awareness type things that that it was for one of those reasons. But yeah, there are certain projects that when you take them out of context, they're just, they look really bad out of context. So it has to be like some fun stuff. Well, that was like, well, what's that one guy from last night who I think we ended up having, I had to follow him back because I was just laughing so hard. But he makes cock blocks, and it sounds horrible, but he's got that same horrible sense of humor that I do. And what they literally are is they are these little white chicken cubes. So he crochets chicken cubes, and they're called cock blocks. And I just was laughing so hard at how silly it was. Like, that's amazing. I need to buy like so many of those because, again, I have friends that we all have that horrible kind of tongue-in-cheek sense of humor, and that's exactly what that is. And I'm like, I need this in my life because it's funny. um but yeah, that's he called that's what he calls them, and that's what they basically are. And I was just laughing because it was funny, and I needed to laugh. I really did. So I cannot see you, you're not lined up. There you are. Oh. But yeah, no, cock blocks, because they're literally they're they're, they're chicken. They're, they're, they're crocheted square chickens. Oh god, I need to find that channel again. I was just, it was beautiful. And it was late though, and I think he's got to be it's got to be a West Coaster because it was, oh man, because it was late, and he was in his time was like early. It might even be more than a West Coaster. It might have been like UK time or something. Like, it might have been like 9 o'clock a.m. or whatever. Yeah, because you got to remember those, the Europe and the UK time zone differences are. It's not, it's just, it's funny. It's like where I'm a little older and a little saltier, and there's stuff that the whole the dual entendre, and I know there's some stuff you really, you got to be kind of, careful what you're doing. But for, you take that kind of literally, and I'm really bad about that though, because that's kind of my mo in a lot of my stuff. And it goes back to the cute trolling. Like, I have had like the same friend that will send hedgehog pictures, and he'll send me random goat pictures because he knows I like I miss my goats dearly. I still love my goats. It just wasn't the right time, and my sheeps and my roosters and stuff. But um he was the one that commissioned me to paint. And this is gonna sound horrible saying it out loud, but which means I almost need to find the image to show, because it makes more sense seeing it. But it was, and this is, again, if there's any kids, do not Google any of what I'm about to say, because I know sooner or later your friends are gonna say things, so you'd be better all be at school, all of you. Um, he commissioned me to paint um goat sees blue waffle at a lemon party, which, again, that sounds horrible, but he also knows that I'm very tongue in cheek. So literally painted one of my goats. Oh yeah. So I painted one of my goats looking at an Eggo waffle that was basically dyed blue, while there was like these little like lemony people, like literally it was like lemons, it was just lemons with arms and legs, and at a party. So behind them there was like a sea of these little dancing lemons and a stage set up, and then there was some lemons over here playing like Cards Against Humanity, and it was just like all these little like meme jokey ins. And so it was a very clean picture, very clean. And it's just that there, it was just the duel and hunt. It was just the play on words that we did, and so that's the kind of, just slightly off kilter humor that we appreciate. Is it's like, yeah, it's like, well, we understand that this can go really really wrong, but it, like, just like the guy was doing the cock blocks, which I thought was hilarious because they were just, square chicken crochet, again reiterating, square chickens block. Like Minecraft. It's like square. Anyway, so yeah. Um, but yeah, that's the kind of silliness that my, that's my crazy ass circle of friends. Oh no, no, I'm so sorry. Now we have to scrub the chats. Not your fault. Weak. Okay, just because make that slightly safer for me later. But yeah, that's kind of what it came down to. But yeah, no, that and that thing too. And of course, if I was to paint something like that, it would be most like, well, for me, because I'm silly, it would be two hens holding a chalice. So just, not I don't I'm not gonna. It's like nothing dirt. I don't know what nothing dirty at all about this phone. What you're talking about? Perfectly clean content. But again, kids, don't Google these things. It's safer. Not like it matters. I'm sure most, what drives me nuts. Like, I even see what my kids get into. It's like, oh my god. It's like, all right. They told you to do what? I remember her coming home from school last year after doing the full lip challenge, and I'm like, you have got to be, like, I basically said, you don't listen to anything that your friends tell you to do ever again, because she had done that suction cup thing and had totally blown her lips out, and she was like bruised around her entire mouth, and I was so mad. Like, no, no, you should know better. And this is just no. At least she hasn't eaten any Tide Pods. It's like, that's like my biggest, at least, and I've and having to have that conversation with them. I mean, seriously, have you had to have that conversation with your kids yet? Hey, little Johnny, please don't eat the Tide Pods. Tide Pods are not candy. Don't eat the Tide Pods. Just don't eat the Tide Pods. Cause seriously, it's like, what's the worst that can happen? I don't know, full mouth sores. It's bad enough we had a Pop Tart incident this morning. I basically had to, I shoved a Pop Tart in her face. It's like, will you stop taking the Pop Tart packages out and leaving them over the house? But I don't like them. If you don't like them, that's awesome. Don't take them out of the don't take them out of the pantry. Just leave them there. They're Pop Tarts. They're gonna last until the next nuclear war. And yeah, but it's one of those, like, oh, and I haven't figured out the whole logic of teenagers, but when you tell her just grab a Pop Tart for breakfast and you grab the strawberry one when you have the ones that you supposedly will eat, and then you either will partially open them and hide them, and like, it doesn't make any sense. Oh no. Morning! How are you doing this morning, baby? So many tops. Do, 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 Good. I'm glad. We're kind of talking about kidlets right now. And the silliness. I have a 13-year-old, and we were just discussing, like, silly. Like, I basically made her eat a Pop Tart this morning because she doesn't like the strawberry. Oh, I need to move this closer. I'm sorry. She doesn't like the strawberry Pop Tarts, but I bought them because she said she didn't like the blueberry Pop Tarts. And what she's been doing though, instead of just like not touching the strawberry ones, so like, I can just save them for whenever, because I actually went out and I specifically bought her um not strawberry Pop Tarts because she asked me for the cinnamon brown sugar ones. Um she's been removing the strawberry Pop Tarts and then hiding them around the house. So like I said, we're discussing the chids. So I made her eat one of the strawberry ones this morning. I'm like, if you're gonna take them out, you've removed them from the pantry. You're eating it now. She was mad at me because I made her eat it. And I'm like, no. She's like, well, that was your fault. Like, nope. You're 13. You know better. Don't don't take stuff and hide it, thinking that by removing it and hiding it, it's somehow going to be any different than whatever. Because there's like absolutely no logic there. If you're not going to eat it, just don't touch it. Because then I'll if you if the package is, if the whole thing's still unopened, then I could either donate it or eat it myself or put it aside or give it to when we have guests. They have the option to eat them because they're Pop Tarts. The s'mores ones are really good. Yeah. Yeah, the s'mores ones are good, but I was trying to hope to have her at least something less Pop Tart, more less dessert, more breakfast if possible. And so I'm like, I'd rather go for the fruit-ish ones, even though they're still Pop Tarts. But when you're like late for the bus like that, it's just you kind of gotta grab whatever you're gonna get. So I'm like, all right, fine, the cinnamon ones. I wish you'd just go back to eating eggs because we used to because we have chickens and stuff, and first it was great because I'm like, good, I have more eggs I know what to do with. Okay, cool. We can have like, eggs for breakfast. And then it's like, I'm tired of eggs. I don't want eggs anymore. I'm like, but there's so many things you can do with eggs. I like the toaster strudels too. Um, to be really honest, I'm sorry we're talking about food now because I'm hungry. I'd be happy if she ate in a timely fashion because what we kept running into was like again this morning is they'll be like, okay, 6 a.m. you need to get up, you need to start moving because we have to leave for the bus by no later than 6:45, and we were lucky we even made it there because they got here early today. And so I'm trying to deal with this dumb, and what she'll do is she knows it's her job to go like feed her rabbits or like make sure that they got water in the morning. So she'll drag her feet and she'll keep dragging her feet and she'll drag her feet because she's a teenager. And then it's like, okay, well, I need to take, I'm going to go ahead and have breakfast now. And it's like, no, you have like, I've been telling, you've been for, 30 minutes, you've been told to be up and be at, and she'll like course grab for like the cereal. And that's why we ended up with the whole Pop Tart fiasco this morning, is because then she waits till like a minute before we have to leave for the bus and she starts pulling out the Cheerios. It's like you're not going to eat that in less than a minute. It's like you grab yourself a Pop Tart and get your butt in the car. So that's what kind of started. She got all mad at me. She's like, "You're mad at me," and I'm like, "I don't care anymore. I'm tired. You can get me out of bed that early. You can eat something." So we kind of got into it. But so that happens when you get that. It's okay. Normally she's a reasonably reasonably good kid. I'm gonna get crap from her today, but it's all right. She did get the rabbits watered. I texted her and she was still on the bus, and oh no, she's talking to me. She's like, "You're a psycho. You made me eat, you shoved a Pop Tart in my mouth." I'm like, "Yeah, I did. After I warned you like 4 times I was gonna do it." It's very important to follow through. It's like you would better eat the Pop Tart. This is my last leg, so almost done with the last leg. Oh, you got the ramen too. Yeah, I suppose I should deal with that. Mine likes dry ramen. I haven't figured that one out. It's dry. It's not cooked, just the bricks. She likes she likes to eat the bricks. So it'll be like just gnaws on ramen bricks. Bricks of ramen. Not even cooked, just bricks. She likes to steal dads. That's what you get like so Matt always gets the beef Nissan. I think we've given up and I'm like, all right, fine, I'll just buy you your own. And then because but she'll I've kind of got to that point where it's like, all right, I can't, you're going to do it anyway, just whatever, just don't make a mess. So if I can get if I can at least get the common ground where the agreement is just please don't make a mess, I think we may have a win at this point. Because this just it gets to that point where it's just you just pick your battles. But the I was tired of having stuff laying over the house with the whole Pop Tart thing because it's literally like I walk in and there's like Pop Tarts everywhere and I'm like I'm this is stupid. Ooh, you go have fun, find some good stuff at the food libraries. Very interesting. And yeah, I'll be getting snackies here in a minute because I'll probably wrap up about a little less than half an hour. I want to at least get these legs attached. So that's going to be my focus this morning, I think, is attaching the legs to the sheeps and getting the rest of the basic form done. And then, because once the form is done, I may actually go back to the dog for just a minute. But yeah, there we go. And we got legs. Now we got legs. We're going to look at attaching them. Alright. Okay, right about there. I'm going to leave a little extra room here, so later when we go back, I'm going to be filling out the rest of the form, but generally, he's going to be about there. Alright, you all have fun. Ramen for breakfast? I'm going to offer ramen for breakfast. I'd honestly be happy with ramen for breakfast as long as she's like eating breakfast. I am probably going to try to do more morning streams. Now that I don't have to, I'm not doing like an hour and a half of outside farm stuff because the sheep are pretty direct. They're pretty easy. They're a lot easier to deal with. I feel bad for Carl though. He's out there like, where'd all my hens go? Why are there no roosters answering me? Why am I all alone? My poor chicken must feel like he's in the Twilight Zone. Stabby, 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 stab. Oh, there we go. Alright, these are not as sturdy as I usually make them to actually support the body, so that's why there's going to be a lot more buildup is going to have to happen. Because you see this is kind of flimsy. What I probably should have done is I probably should have done an armature for the sheep. But that's okay. I'm not going to worry too much about it. Alright, and we want to get them lined up, so he needs to be about there. Yeah, I probably should build an armature. That's okay. Put you out there. Alright, and again, just tucking in. I do a lot of this where I kind of do a twist and stab, twist and stab. You're gonna la 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 baby now, la 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 baby, and stab it all out, because that's how you felt. Stabbing wool now with my growly voice, 'cause I have a major sinus cold. Do 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 do. I'm so sorry, I'm so snuffly. And probably a little bit loopy. There we go. So yeah, again, I twist and stab. And twist and stab. Alright, I'm going to do front legs. Maybe forward on shoulder, probably about there. I still try to get somewhat anatomically correct. I may go ahead and skin over these just a little bit. Before I start adding the wool. Because I am going to, when I do these, I am going to do this little more Icelandic style. Although I think I'm using, this one's going to be probably this, which is good because it's still got some pretty tight little curls in here. But I'll need to dig through here a bit to find the pieces that I really like. So I'm going to probably pull this out and get a good look at what's there as far as the curly bits. But I think that'll work nicely. Yeah, again, pardon me, I still got quite a bit of a head cold. Although I haven't strummed as much this week. It hasn't been nearly as much strumming. Alright, well I probably got about, I'm going to hang about 15 minutes or so, and then we'll start looking for someone to either host or raid, depending on who's still hanging out, or if someone's got suggestions of someone that we probably should go host or raid. Just because this morning is going to end up being a little bit shorter, just because I'm trying to feel out how I want to do mornings, because I'm going to probably switch to mornings on at least a couple days a week. So I'll still probably do Felting Fridays in the evening. My Friday, I like that like 6 to 9 regular time, but I have more time in the mornings now, which is good. So because I have more morning open, I may try to do more like Eastern Standard Time, like 9 to noonish or something like that. Yeah, mornings are good. I think it's gonna end up working out better for me too, just because um that means I can game at night again, so that'll open up my nights more towards just kind of like relaxing and chilling with family, and I can do a couple days maybe in the morning during the week. So, which is if you haven't if you didn't catch me earlier, I pared down the farm quite a bit. We sent the goats off to a dairy, so they are doing what they need to be doing, which is milking heavily for someone who can actually make money off them. Um, I had one goat alone who, granted, she's my favorite goat, but she milks 2 gallons a day, and I'm the only one drinking it. So, I'm focusing on my ship. So my sheeps, my Icelandics, well, my Icelandics and well, I have a couple mutts, but mainly my Icelandic sheep. And because I sold off my goat herd, I'm gonna be buying more ewes. So it's not that I'm getting rid of the farm. I'm just shifting what's going to be a more logical operation at this time. All right, and so we're almost done with this dude. Yeah, and then I'll do more mornings. So, I think that'll be a good thing because I take nighttime classes, and that means I'll schedule out a couple of days during the week that I can do mornings. And I think I might go ahead and put you in kind of a trot. So go ahead and extend that shoulder. I know it's upside down, but I'm just trying to feel it too. Yeah, we'll go ahead and do that as a shoulder extension. Well, no, I should probably make you stand straight. Yeah, next time I do this thing, I'm going to add an armature. I haven't done too many with armatures. Bench and Needle does a lot of armature if you want to see someone do some really cool armature work. Although, I think I have, I want to say 4 more mini critter projects like this lined up already that I want to do. And then after that, I really want to make a dragon for me. So I'm going to do a full out armature. I'm going to make myself a big old dragon. Because I want to make a big old felted dragon. Because big old felted dragons are cool. I actually had someone send me a video the other day of I want to say Tofu did. I think it was Tofu. It might not have been. It might have been Popsy. I'll have to go check Discord. But I actually had someone send me a chimpanzee that someone had felted from scratch. And so basically they went in, they built this wire armature. It's a full size, like life size chimpanzee, and it's like, like photorealistic type gorgeous felted armature. But yeah, I'm gonna switch to mornings. I think I'll do like 9 to noon, or because that'll give me time to do the couple animals that we still got in the morning, which is gonna be easy stuff because sheep are easy. I love my sheeps. Okay, now we're gonna do some fancy stuff just because I want to get this done. This is where we take a bunch of the felty needles. Hmm. And we make them into a big stabby thing, and then we just stab a whole bunch. I know you can like buy actual ones like this, and you can get like real holders and things. And where's the fun in that? This is much more dangerous. All right. Okay, then we got little legs. And he's not going to stand up perfect. I'm not expecting him to. I think you're might be a little too short. Oh, that's okay. I'm adding a hoof to that one anyway, so it's actually okay if it's a little bit on the short side. Well, surprisingly enough, it is standing. It's a preliminary, but basically the goal for this. Sorry about the mic hit. The main goal for this particular one was just to get the body shaped out, because once the body's shaped out, I'm going to start adding wool. This is going to be a spotted sheep, similar to the one that I just had born the other day or this morning. Well, I guess they're 3 days old now. Yeah, so I'm going to be doing a. Right, I'm gonna add a little more color to this one. I'm gonna move this up. Than I was on the others, and he's a couple colors, but I was gonna use this. I think I was gonna go through and pick some of the really these like really tight little curls here, like this wool. I wanted to use this stuff. Like I wanted to pick through and get like this little tight stuff here. Or if you can, where is it? Yeah, you see how there's these really, really cute, tight little baby locks? I wanted to pick through the baby locks. I want to use the baby locks. So I'm going to try to carefully, I don't want to ruin those locks either. See how well I can preserve them. I may have to run downstairs and get get a brush anyway, and just do like one good brush through very carefully, and then I might almost respin it. I'm wondering if I get it wet, if it'll just bounce back too, if it'll put itself back together. You see, it had like that really like natural little bounciness to it. So I don't know how much work be required, but yeah, because it just kind of like naturally there it goes. I'm trying to remember what kind of sheep this came from. So I almost want to like partially hand spin it before felting like each one, which is gonna take like freaking forever. But that's the kind of glutton for punishment I am when I do this stuff. Look at that! It done threaded itself. Look at it. It's like really cute. It made a little baby thread. But yeah, yeah, we're a couple minutes. If anyone has any suggestions, anyone who's on, because we got just a couple more minutes, but this is what I'm going to be doing with this guy. And I'll see if I can find a picture of what I'm already thinking, because this is based on actual sheep. But I'm going to do like an undercoat first, and then I'm going to go and I'm going to put like a whole bunch of these. So it's going to be like a whole bunch of like what's the word? Corded? I guess corded would be the best word for it. Like almost like corded wool. Like corded locks. Yeah, and this was the other thing I was thinking, was probably just going up and building a little more muscle structure underneath, but I don't know if it's even worth doing or not for this. Because I could build this up just a little bit. But I don't know. Yeah, and then I need to go through, and it'll probably be like there, because there's undercoat and overcoat, so I'd probably be doing like undercoat. I'd technically start at the top and then come down, because I'm basing this on like my actual sheeps. So I'll probably start up here, and I'll probably felt in 2 patches and then brush it out. And then work it from there. So this I'm probably going to take a quick break on the sheep and give some forethought to how exactly I want to get that done. Because I need to play around with this a little bit and make sure that I have enough of these little locks. And I can get it out of there without really damaging what I already have. This is like, I don't have a lot of this left for this colored wool. And I kind of wish it was a little bit darker, but we'll play with that later. I did want to see if I could finish up a little more on pupper here, because I was kind of playing around with this technique anyway. And I wanted to get more of this dark mixed in, I think, is what the goal was. So I'll stab this for a minute, and if you guys want to come up with someone we can run off and do a quick raid on, or I'll start poking around looking to see who's available. And then we'll run off and we'll go raid someone, and I'm gonna get something to eat before I have to run and do my errands, and then we'll probably do some more of these mornings, because I'm kind of digging these mornings, to be honest. I know I'm fluffing my schnauzer up. It's like, what are you doing? Like, I'm pulling all the stuff I already put in out so I can refluff it and do it closer to how I kind of wanted to do it in the first place. So what I really wanted to do was do it flat. So that way all the hairs are running in the same direction. And that's why, I don't know, if anyone was hanging out like really earlier when I was talking about getting my own wool processed, and I was figuring out, like, you know, like the pricing and the quality wise, is I realized that I paid $7 for less than 2 ounces of this stuff from Michaels. And if I get my own wool run, I can run my own wool, I can actually get a much higher quality for technically probably cheaper, because it'll be a higher quality wool and it'll be a lot longer fibers, because I was realizing that these fibers aren't necessarily all that long. I'm looking at this now, I think I'm going to need to start at the bottom and work up, so it's going to have to be from the bottom. So that when I brush it in, I'm going to have to make sure it's laying correctly. I am stabbing things. I stab lots of things. Stabbing things. Look at him. Oh yes, rub my back. Look at him on that camera. Rub my mommy. Rub my back. Scratch my head. Scratch my head, mommy. Scratch my head. It's like Boots. This is what Boots would be like. Boots would love me, mommy. Scratch my head. He says I'm stabbing lots of things. Stabbity therapy is the best. Are there any other needle filters even on this time? Because I'll totally go. We'll go. We should go raid more filters. Oh, I have like 2 minutes to make up my mind. All right, I'm gonna make an attempt to pull up just to see who I have on my list that's doing creative right now. I remember I do forewarn you. Anytime I open up the internet, my internet does horrible things, and my stream will very likely grind to a halt on my end. So just as long as you are forewarned, I'm not leaving you. You haven't crashed. It's not your fault. Your computer is not broken. It is not Twitch. It is simply my internet is that bad. Yep, I'm here, sweetie. I'm about to end the stream. He's just making sure that I'm still. Hubby stayed home from work because he's not feeling good today. All right, let me go check to see who's on, and then we're gonna go ahead and I think we got at least 4 people ish here. That's enough for a raid. I kind of have a three person minimum. I think is fair. So if you guys don't mind, um, no, it would help if I was logged in. That's hilarious. I don't even know how I'm logged out. How am I logged out and still doing things? All right, I'm gonna have to do this from the phone. Here. Yes, Tilly is a school. All right, I'm gonna attempt to do this from my phone. Well, at least I need to look up who's doing what's. All right, we got. Let's see. Looks like Fairy's just coming online now. I Paint Creatures is up. Who else is up? Mm, Eternity is doing Coptics. And otherwise, there's pretty much not many people on at 11 a.m. apparently. Because I don't know how long Fairy's going to be in stasis because she's just in soon. Alright, so can Weagle. How about Rah. Can I go to my channel? Can you be good phone? It's a Twitch. What? Stabby Poke's a Twitch mystery. It's a Twitch mystery. Oh, well, we want to run away. I want to go raid somebody, but hey, phone. Seriously, there are not a lot of people, which means we need to search for creative. Let's go find new people. Let's be exciting. Let's go randomly find a new person that I've never watched before. Maybe we'll get lucky. Maybe there'll be someone else that's felting. Felt. Do 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 do. This could be dangerous. Felting. Just me. Wow, that's sad. Okay, then we're gonna go to my regulars. Come on, I need names, so you need to. There we go. Eternity's Emporium. I think that's who we're gonna go to. Okay, well I'm up for. Fairy does a 3-minute intro. We could just chill for like 3 minutes then, or we could just go. Who's I haven't been over to Skellington. What's S Gillington? Oh, Crochet. Oh, and they ran away too. Why is everyone running? Don't run away, people. Stay so I can raid you. Do 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 do. Oh, good, she's back. All right, cool. We'll do that. We'll do that. I want to do it from the phone. The phone is bad. No, I'll just type it in. It's not a big deal. Yeah, we can totally do that. Here, and I have to go chat. And there. Okay, cool. We're going to go ahead and raid Skellington. S-K-E. I have to spell things. L-L-I-N. There's a K in there. That would be helpful. SSKELLINGTON 12. Okay. AID. There, I got'd it now. I hope. Wait. And make sure that I'm in my channel, because it's going to be just my luck, because my phone is evil. There we go. Boop. Alright. Wheezy. Yay! There we go. We went. We can run away now. Alright, we're gonna go with a couple people's. And I love... Oh, did she run away too? Shoot.